Hello friends! Today we're going to be doing a review of the one and only carnivore study that was recently done. So there are very few studies like this, but as of recently, 2,029 participants took part of a study. These participants were eating a carnivore diet for more than 6 months. This is the first modern report on a large scale of people who habitually avoid plants, which is actually by most people seen as something that will contribute to poor health. So this is a very rare study, and I've been meaning to do a little video on it because we are in the carnivore community, and I think that we should be informed of what's going on in terms of study and research in this space. Now, keep in mind, I'm not, a doctor, a scientist. I was never um, really good at reading studies when I went to university. So I have my notes in front of me. That's why I'm kind of looking at a screen. But I did do my homework. I read through the entire study. I watched videos summarizing the study, and I decided to compile a list of things that I found interesting, and I wanted to share it with you. And this is something that you can share with your family and friends if they're skeptical about your diet, if they're telling you that you need to eat more plants. Show them this video, show them the study. I'm going to link it below in the description, and let's help change minds one person at a time with hopefully science on our side. So as I mentioned, I will be linking the study below, and let's get started. I'm gonna just kind of go through my notes and just have a discussion about it with you guys. I hope you enjoy and I hope you learn something. So this study was approved by the Boston Children's Hospital Institutional Review Board. They wanted to study people that started the carnivore diet for at least 6 months, and they wanted to find out why they started the carnivore diet, how long they've been on the diet, what improvements they've seen in their health, and kind of what else they experienced on this diet. It was more of like a social media based survey, and from my understanding, people self-reported. They took the survey, but I think, and please correct me if I'm wrong, I think that they also submitted labs. So they got blood work done, and I mentioned before there were 2,029 participants, male and female, and their median age was 44. So 93% of participants went on the carnivore diet for health reasons, which of course isn't that how we kind of all stumbled upon this diet? So that's not surprising. 85% of participants consumed red meat, and under 10% reported consuming vegetables, fruits, or grains. So not much of that going on. Most of the participants consumed a meat-heavy diet. And 37% of participants denied the use of any supplements. So what that means is that all of their nutrition, all of their vitamins, they got all of that from meat. No supplementing vitamin D, zinc, none of that. All from the food source. So this is more of like a geeky video. I'm gonna be reading off and kind of telling you guys some stats that I found interesting. But before we get into it, I wanted to read something to you guys from the study. The study notes that whereas diets high in animal foods have been commonly discouraged owing to high saturated fats content and low density of essential nutrients and bioactive compounds like fiber, little is known about the health status of people habitually following a carnivore eating pattern. According to a common view, long-term consumption of a strictly animal-based diet would be associated with significant nutritional deficiencies and confer negative health effects compared with a plant-based diet, including poor gut and gut microbiota health, and adverse cardiovascular disease risk pattern, and other chronic health complications. So, did this study prove otherwise? It sure did. This study, to the surprise of many, proved that chronic illness can be reversed or put into remission if you place a focus on animal protein, animal fat. So we know this. We know this very well. But even though we know this, there are very, very few studies out there that show if an all meat diet is sustainable for extended periods of time. Although you and I know that on a universal level, the carnivore diet has changed people's lives, like literally people from all over the world, even if you just go on the World Carnivore Tribe Facebook group, you'll see people from all walks of life, people from Brazil, people from Germany, Canada, US, China, everywhere. People are changing their lives for the better by simply removing plants from their diet and upping their protein and fat, animal fat intake. They're changing their lives. People are getting off of their medications, reversing or putting into remission chronic illness. They're doing things that their doctor told them they couldn't do anymore. So it's pretty crazy. And you and I know this, but still there's a lot of data that is lacking, a lot of peer-reviewed science that just simply doesn't exist. We have a lot of anecdotal evidence, a lot of personal stories. Like I have my story, you have your story, Danny has his story, and there's about 300,000 more people just online on Facebook groups that have their own anecdotal stories. But that's about all that we have. So this study is really interesting because I think it's like one step further to getting closer to a clinical trial. They're actually still raising funds to be able to do a clinical trial. I believe that they need $500,000 to do like a bigger study, and then a million and maybe more to do like a real study, the kind that we need, the kind that all of these plant-based studies have. Like most plant-based studies are so easily funded. There's a plethora of them. I mean, makes you wonder, why are we here like fighting tooth and nail just to get some funding for one clinical trial of a carnivore diet? Makes you wonder. But anyways, guys, I'm gonna dive into some of the findings, and just remember, this is like a short summary of the study. It's a great victory for us carnivores, and it shows that, we're not crazy, just little savage meat eaters. There's more to this. I do believe that we evolved eating meat. Our brains grew like quadruple, triple, million times in size from eating meat. And I believe that if we continue to eat this way, there is a possibility for us to continue evolving. But if we go and start eating the man-made foods or prioritizing plant protein, I do think that that kind of slows down our evolution a bit. Our brain needs animal protein and fat. We need it. So anyways, enough of my rambling. I'm going to dive into some of the profound results that they gathered from this study. So let's get started. 69% of people improved chronic disease. 95% improved their overall health. 91% improved hunger and food cravings. 85% improved mental clarity. 66% improved memory. 83% improved focus. 69% improved sleep. 78% improved strength. 76% improved endurance, and 89% improved energy. That's funny. Reading that out loud, I was kind of thinking of the video that I made, my top 9 benefits of being carnivore for 3 years. I'm pretty sure that I have experienced all of those. I've improved a lot of pain and inflammation, my overall health, my hunger, my food cravings, mental clarity, memory, focus, sleep, strength, endurance, energy, all of it. So yeah, I can count me in this study too. So let's move on. Another overwhelming majority of the participants reported improvements in chronic conditions and reduction in medication usage. In particular, these ones are mind-blowing. 93% of people improved or resolved their overweight issues or obesity. 93% improved or resolved hypertension, 84% improved or resolved cardiovascular issues, 98% improved or resolved diabetes and insulin resistance, 97 improved or resolved gastrointestinal conditions, 89% improved or resolved autoimmune conditions, 96% improved or resolved musculoskeletal issues, and 96% improved or resolved psychiatric symptoms. So mental health, that's a huge win. 92% improved or resolved urologic issues, and 92% improved or resolved dermatologic issues. So that's almost all of those were above 90% success rate. Just two were 89% and 84. That is huge, guys. That's huge. I mean, when you're eating a diet or when you're eating foods that are actually doing what they're supposed to do, which is nourish, heal your body, you will see results. I remember my whole life striving to eat healthy, whether it was when I went vegan or before that. I was always kind of mindful of what I ate, and of course the keeping it balanced with junk food, but I never saw results. So this kind of gets me thinking, like, if we're spending all of this time and money on all of these studies, these plant-based studies, all of the resources are going that way, but we're missing like the one thing that we should be looking at. Guys, meat's the way. Okay, so the other thing that I wanted to mention was, this is huge for diabetes. People that are on medication for diabetes and were a part of the study, 90% of them discontinued or decreased their insulin. 92% discontinued insulin for type 2 diabetes altogether, and 100% of participants discontinued other diabetes injectables. Hello? Crazy. I mean, what medication can you think of that has had these profound results? These high percentage, we're talking percentage of in the 90s for all of these illnesses mentioned. Mental health, chronic pain. What's going on here? Just with food we can heal. And 84% discontinued oral diabetes medications. So these are some pretty awesome stats, and some will say, yeah, but they're self-reported. People just, took a survey, and it's hard to know if they kept track properly of what they ate, and what if, they secretly ate vegetables. Well, this is why this is just one study, but it's very, very important. It's a small victory, and we have to celebrate these small victories. And I know that we will be able to get funding to do the clinical trial. I have hope. There's a lot of us, and the community is growing stronger and stronger. One of my favorite parts about the study was talking about the fact that meat is expensive. And I often hear that whenever people find out what I eat, and they're like, oh, but meat's expensive. I can't do that. Meat's too expensive, especially grass-fed, grass-finished. So they actually have a little excerpt in the study about this part, and I'm going to read it to you guys. It goes, whereas meat is more expensive than grains and starchy foods, it may be less expensive on a caloric basis, depending on location and specific comparisons, than fresh fruits and non-starchy vegetables. And cost may be, in addition, offset by decreased expenditure for diabetes and other medications. Our respondents spanned low to high income classes, suggesting against major financial barriers to the diet. So basically it's like, the way I see it, and I've always said it this way, pay your farmer now or pay the doctor later. Pay for your medication later. So it's all about investing in the self. And when you can see that the food that you put into your body, and I always say this, and I always feel like I do this movement, the food that you ingest will literally fuel and nourish you. Even a little bowl of ground beef. This morning when I woke up, I had a bowl of ground beef, like maybe 4 tablespoons worth left over from last night, and I just ate the ground beef, and I was like, this is nourishment. This is true nourishment. It doesn't have to come in a fancy cup of celery organic, schmorganic, certified green juice. No, guys, it's a bowl of ground beef. And I had that bowl of ground beef because I don't like to have coffee on an empty stomach. And I was set for the day and I was good. And I love and I'm so thankful that the universe showed me the true power of food and how it affects every aspect of my being. So, super grateful for this study showing us that we are not alone. There's other people feeling the health benefits of an animal-based diet. And one day we can change the world this way. If you guys like more of these nerdy videos, I got a couple of more ideas. I'm not the best at I cannot memorize studies, but I can, do my due diligence and take notes and kind of read off my laptop and explain it to you that way, so that you can understand and maybe share this information with others. I'd love to do more videos. I do know that there is some research on strictly animal-based diets done by Weston A. Price, and there's another guy, can't remember his name right now, but he studied I think Inuit tribes in Canada, and he went carnivore, I believe, for 1 year. So there's a lot of fascinating information in that space. I just got a new book, Weston A. Price's book, so I'm gonna read that. So I'm gonna armor myself with the knowledge and continue to spread it to you guys. Please let me know if you'd like to see more videos like this. I would love to do them, but if it's boring or it's not something that you guys are into, then I'll stick to recipes and things like that. And one more thing I wanted to mention was another amazing, I guess, what could you call them? It's not really like a hospital, but they're called Paleo Medicina in Hungary, and they have been pioneering the way for quite some time now. I think like 10 years at least. I'm gonna fact check that, and I'll link their website below. But they have been curing chronic disease with a high-fat animal diet, and they've literally worked with people who have had pretty severe cases of cancer, and it's been put into remission. So we do have people that are doing this type of work, healing chronic illness with meat. And what I love about Paleo Medicina is they do post their studies on their website. So there is science out there. You just have to look for it and you have to be able to understand it. And I know, if you're like me, sometimes reading a paper can be super overwhelming, especially if you don't have a background in nutrition or I don't know what it'd be, like biology or science. I'm more of an artsy type, so I'm like, kind of get lost. But actually, this study that was done specifically is very, very easy to understand, and I would encourage you to read it for yourself and share it with your loved ones. This is a huge win for all of us. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm wishing you a beautiful, happy new year. I'm so grateful for every one of my subscribers, and even if you're not subscribed, just taking the time to watch my video and leave comments. It warms my heart. I really, really do love making these videos, and I appreciate every one of you. Wishing you a beautiful, blessed, glorious 2022 ahead. Have a good one. Enjoy these 2 videos on the screen. Take care.